Everybody, I hope y'all are doing well. Um, Today has been, this whole week has been a business related shit show. Uh, I'm trying to make my way to dinner because Sassy didn't eat lunch and I gobbled mine down between a company luncheon and a couple other things. So I'm absolutely, like, everything's all screwed up for both of us. And, and I hope you guys can hear me. So if anyone does hop in the chat, hey, Coffee, can you hear me okay? Hey, Joe, what's going on? Thank you, Coffee. All right, this will be a short live because today became garbage, starting at about 4:30. Okay, I got a good start for you. All right, because I want to have a little humor, right? We got to be light. So this morning, you guys know I have two outdoor cats. That one is ancient. He should be dead, but he's still alive. Hey, Vision. I just got out of a meeting from hell that the guy who called the meeting did not know the agenda for the meeting he asked for. And then he was asking me questions. I'm like, I didn't call for the meeting, knucklehead. What? And I wanted to call him, something like an asshat, but he's actually a friend of mine. And I think he's on vacation and he was trying to do work stuff. I'm like, dude, you should have just let someone else do it. You're killing us, man. I don't think he's having a good week either, to be honest. I'm maybe a little bit harsh on my old friend there. But anyway, this week has been such poop. Hey, Mimi and Loretta, and I think I missed a few people, Scott. So this morning, I have my little bougie breakfast sandwich maker that you cut your muffin and put all the goodies in it and it toasts it for you. And I got this thing for $30, right? So I don't spend $15 at a time at Chick-fil-A. I make my own stuff. Hey, cat lady, how you doing? So anyway, this morning I was trying to feed the dogs, feed the cats that are outside, and pour myself breakfast. I'm gonna post it later, I literally poured cat food into my yogurt instead of the granola. And I stopped for a minute and I looked and I'm like, why does my granola look fucked up? And then I realized they put cat food in my granola. And I put everything down. And I guess my dogs picked up on the fact that I had basically just shut myself down. Hey, Magic. And the dogs just all stopped. They were running around all excited and they just stopped. They all just stopped and they're all looking at me like Dad's having an aneurysm or something. And I'm like, I just poured cat food in my fucking yogurt. Like, I don't even know what to say to that. And I was gonna give the cats the yogurt with cat food, right? But then I realized the cats aren't used to yogurt. They'll eat it, right? Because it's milk-based, so they'll gobble that down. And then they're gonna have runs all over my backyard. And I thought that was an awful idea, so I wound up just throwing out the yogurt and getting another one. But yeah, I put cat food in my yogurt because I was so discombobulated from work. Man, that little teenage girl, she was rocking out in that old Mustang. Her hair was everywhere. She was like, yeah! She had a good song on. Anyway, yeah, that was... I'm gonna post I took a picture and sent it to my kids. I'm like, this is what happens when you multitask too much. You put freaking cat food, which means I was probably about to give the cats granola, which really would have been funny. Oh, I am off the wall, absolutely losing it. I was still pissed with someone from a meeting the day before. They agitated me, and I get upset when I work with a lot of good people, and when my good people are saying, hey, we can't do this way because it's not gonna be good. And I respect their opinions, and then someone who's nowhere near us in like a completely different place is overruling us. I'm like, we're gonna have a disaster and it's gonna be your fault, and then I'm gonna be upset. So, but I let it, sometimes I get agitated. It's like when stupid people drive in the wrong lane and you're like, get out of the lane. And that's basically where I was this week. So, and then I put cat food in my yogurt. Maybe that was God telling me to chill out. He's like, look what you just did. That's enough. Go sit down now. So the corgis wanted the damn yogurt too, but God, I would pay for that for days. Never give a dog yogurt unless they're constipated, because that's exactly what'll clear out. But anyway, so this is going to be a relatively short live because I'm not going to push my luck with me losing my marbles lately. I do want to give an update on the bank situation, though. There was a congressman from North Carolina. He went online at 3 a.m. last night. And God, for the life of me, I can't remember. It's a younger, former military guy. I forgot his name already, because I normally don't follow him. It was kind of somebody sent it to me. But anyway, he posted on TikTok and Instagram at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. last night to say that, wait, what was that? Sorry, I can't see some of y'all's chat. All right. But he posted on Instagram saying that Congress had he said, I got a Zoom link at midnight or at 1:45 for a Zoom call at 2. He said, I came on the call because it came from his assistant and he thought it would be like his committee, right? He's on a committee. He said, no. He said the entirety of Congress was on there, on this big ass secure Zoom call. I don't know how secure Zoom is, but yeah, Congress was on it. And that makes you kind of wonder, like, how secure is Zoom if our Congress is making decisions? Anyway, long story short, the Fed has decided they're going to prioritize people's bank accounts and making sure that the companies that had their payroll in the banks that are in question are secured and that they can make payroll. And he said they're going to take it out of a fund all the banks were paying into. And he said, we're not pulling it from the taxpayers. We were adamant about that. He said, we're going to make sure those companies get payroll so that they don't have to lay off, 10,000 people because of whatever. And he said, but the managers, the executives, and the stockholders, we're holding their money until we make heads or tails of what the hell happened. And that was probably one of the best short videos from a congressperson I've seen in years. And he said, we're all in agreement. He said he called the Democrat, because I guess he's a Republican. The other lady's the Democrat outside his district. And he said, we were on the phone after, and we said, North Carolina is all on the same page, both parties. And they called like South Carolina, and they were on the same page. And he said, we were calling all the other states to make sure everyone was on the same page. And I'm like, thank you. That's you guys finally doing your job. And, for all their puffery, you notice how the big mouths in Congress got really, really quiet? That's because they realized the wheels almost fell off this cart. And if they don't do something about it, they're going to have a really wicked shit show. Excuse my French, but they're going to have a disaster. It'll be worse than me putting cat food in my yogurt this morning. But on a global scale, like, it would be awful. But in any case, damn, this morning this is to Joe Morgan. I know he's in the chat somewhere. It got so bad this morning, I almost canceled meetings, went home and opened another bottle of bourbon and said, I'm done. I'm just going to call it. The banks can eat my shorts. Yeah. No, the banks are all poo. And the fact that Congress is going to withhold the managers, stockholders, and executives' personal funds until they sort everything out, I was like, good. They may not legally be able to do it. It may go to court and there may be some rule that says you can't do those things. But they're going to try, and that's all I ask. Fight for the freaking people who elected you. And it sounds like a bunch of them are pissed off now. So good. If these banks failing has pissed Congress off to where they're doing what they're supposed to, bonus. I'm okay with that. Let them argue. But hey, Plumber, I missed a few people. Hey, Lucky, what's going on? Random. Sorry, folks, I'm driving, so I'm kind of like glancing at the screen. So let's see where it goes. Right now, it's 3 banks. Chase said they're secure. They said the hit they took in the bond market was offset because they diversified internationally, so that's good. Bank of America is worrying me a little bit because Silicon Valley Bank was hedged 50% in bonds, and when they raised the interest rates, the bonds took a dump. and they lost money, and that's why they started collapsing. Bank of America is 30% leveraged in bonds, whereas Chase is only 15 because they diversified into an international fund that went the other way. So Chase did their homework, so did Fidelity. I don't know about Wells Fargo. They're kind of a screwball company, but Satan's Bank of America apparently is not doing well. So hopefully they don't take a dump also, because that'll really freak people out. Hey, Bat shit. And Farmer's Son, hello. So, yeah, so right now they've the boat stopped rocking. It's just kind of sitting there dead in the water right now, which maybe is a good thing. And then the stock market went up. So I don't know what the hell the logic there is. Like, oh yeah, we'll have the stock market will go up. Extra protein. Oh man, it was so bad this morning, Shad. I mean, I had phone calls going on. I almost gave one of the dogs my sandwich. I put cat food in my yogurt. Almost gave the cat the damn granola that was supposed to be in the yogurt. So, that's what happens when you do too much shit. You just become dumb. Joe had a zinger there, but I couldn't read all of it that fast. Actually, I'm getting green lights. I should knock on the ceiling, right? So, for those of you who are watching, there's reports that a Russian fighter smacked into a drone and took the drone out of the sky. And everyone's upset. They're like, they kamikazed our drone. I promise you that Russian pilot's probably getting his ass chewed for damaging a very expensive airplane. But this is not new. So the media's spinning this like, oh, they crashed. That has happened repeatedly. China smacked into a P-3 Orion. The Chinese fighter, this was about 4 or 5 years ago, the Chinese fighter caught fire and crashed into the sea. The pilot actually died. And the P-3 Orion got damaged and had to do an emergency landing in China. So the Air Force guys, or the Navy guys rather, were destroying all the secure info in the plane and throwing it out the window, out the door into the ocean on fire before the Chinese got hold of the plane, which they ultimately did, because when they landed, they all got arrested. And then they were released. Like, there was they had this big dog and pony show, and then like the Secretary of State went over there and was like, give us our people back. And we'd like the plane. They said, you can't have the plane, we're keeping it. But the Navy guys have pretty much thrown everything out of there. Yeah, so this has happened before. As a matter of fact, when Obama was in office, a Chinese sub was chasing an American destroyer. They were playing like peekaboo with each other. And the Chinese sub surfaced under the American destroyer and destroyed its own conning tower, and they almost sank. And the Navy had to rescue them. And then we took their sub, and they were all upset about that. So this has happened before. The media's like, oh my God, look over here, scary shit. We've been crashing into each other's shit throughout the Cold War. I'm more worried about the damn banks not functioning right and 1,000 immigrants blatantly running across a bridge on the border. I've been across that bridge. Like, they weren't sneaking through the woods. They were running across the border. Like they were trying to run over Border Patrol on a bridge. And if you look at the video, the majority are military-aged men, and that concerns the crap out of me. We don't know who's coming in here. How do we know they're not Al-Qaeda operatives who learn Spanish and are sneaking across the border? We don't know who they are. So, I don't know, guys, that worries the heck out of me, y'all. And it should worry all of you. It's just strange weirdness with all this lately. But yeah, folks, it looks like they've settled the banks for now. I'm not holding my breath how it's going to turn out. But, when I posted that video yesterday about defensive prepping, yeah, able-bodied men. And look, okay, I'm going to freak everyone out. There was once upon a time during the Cold War where a guy like me, who's kind of got a nice sexy little tan, right? I can learn Croatian and go to Croatia, and I'd pass as a Croatian. I can go to Italy and pass as an Italian, depending on how I cut my beard. I can definitely be Spanish. I can be Persian. I can go to a lot of places in the world and look like someone else. All I need is to learn the language and customs. If I were a bad guy, I would, hey, Orkwild, hey, wait, someone else just is an international gray man of mystery, I know. And until he eats cat food in front of other people and they send me to an asylum. But if I were a bad guy, I would take someone and drop them in like Honduras, right? And, you know, some dude who would fit in, and then just have them learn the language, learn the customs for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then say, okay, after 5 years, sneak into America with all the other people, because you're going to get mixed in. 008 Pete. -5 this morning with the freaking cat food. -5 agent. You think about it. You get 10 agents, some bad guys. You train them, and then you put them in South America somewhere, right? Teach them the language. And they just kind of hang out, learn the language, the customs, be able to answer questions Border Patrol would ask them, like, what town are you from? What's the color of the church in that town, right? And then, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Meow Mix Chobani. Hey, Wolfang. And then tell all 10 agents, okay, now's the time, get into the country. And then, you know, they just sneak in with the, 100,000 people who are trying to get in every quarter. And if 5 of them make it, right, the other 5 get kicked out, or they get arrested, or somebody shoots them. Well, now 5 guys, you can do a lot of damage with 5 guys. 9/11 was done with 11 people that the FBI knew were in the country and lost track of them, allegedly. So that concerns me way more than a stupid Russian pilot he says, I am going to be Top Gun, and he smacks into a fucking drone and then broke his airplane, and he had to land. He killed the drone. You know, could you imagine being the drone pilot with that thing on your head, and you're like, with those big screens, and you're like, what the hell are you doing? And then whack! And you're like, shit! You know, and his commander's like, what? He said, he just kamikazed my drone. And there goes your drone into the ocean. Hey, Johnny. So, I think the border thing scares the hell out of me a lot more. You want to watch, if you guys have read, oh, God. Who was Joe Anybody's book? Was it, On Their Own? It was along the John Wesley Rawls books. You all remember those? Patriots, etc. There was another guy, he went by a pseudonym called Joe Anybody or something, and it was like On Their Own. I don't know if you guys help me out here. Yeah, they crashed it. But anyway, I can't remember the exact name of the book, and the guy went by a pseudonym, an author's name. Yeah, God, it's gonna bug me now. I have the book on my shelf at the house, but in any case, part of his premise, which was a bit Tom Clancy-ish, was that there was a financial issue in a bank, and then while that was happening, the sleeper agent, in this fictional account, they received a posting on like a big Facebook group for like coffee. And it said, I don't know, everyone drinks Shabalba or something ridiculous, right? And it just looked like one of 100 different posts people make on this generic Facebook group with 1,000 folks in it. And when these agents saw it, it meant execute plan whatever. And they saw this generic info, and they went out and they caused a bunch of chaos. Just as the banks were failing, they conducted terror attacks. And then everything went sideways, and then, the hero and his family try to go into the safe place, etc. And then the whole book continues. That scares me. Like, the week we have bank failures, we got 1,000 people trying to run across the border blatantly on the bridge. So if we're all looking at the bridge, who else is coming across that we didn't see? Lucky, I know you've read it. I'm pretty confident if you read the way I do, I'm pretty sure we've both read it. And for the life of me, I can't remember the damn name of the book. God, this is going to bug me. I have another phone. I can't remember what it's called. It's something like Holding Their Own. That's what it is. I believe it's the book called Holding Their Own. So, Holding Their Own. I think it's, let me just, because this is going to bug me for the rest of the chat. And now it won't come up because phones suck. Yeah, okay. By Joe Nobody. All right. Right. And vision, honestly, I bet you we have them too. Now, the Chinese wiped out a bunch of them in their country. Guys we had planted there. But I'm sure we have more. And that would be an absolute wild card. Hey, Oki, is a bunch of people doing fifth column shit in other countries. Could you imagine the chaos, right? It's like if things escalate or the finances collapse, because financial collapse is going to screw everybody, right? And then China will be screwed, Russia will be screwed, we'll be screwed, everybody's screwed. And then everyone's going to pick a fight with someone, right? They're all going to try and beat each other up. And all this fifth column stuff will start going on. Like, what the hell? You know, the world is way different than it was in 1945 during the last big war. So I'm more concerned about the banks and God knows who coming in the country. And it's not like, oh, don't let immigrants in. That's the opposite. Let them in, but systemically. Let's interview the people. Hey, you know what? You're Satan. I don't want you in my state. Go away. Run his ass off. This is really simple. So I was encouraged to hear these younger Congress people actually pissed off at the banks. They were pissed off at the Fed. The guy went off for a good 5 minutes about how they basically lit into everyone. And he said it was Democrats, Republicans. We were all over each other. Even Bernie was in on that. So, you know, more power to him. Hey, hillbilly. But yeah, right now it looks like they evened out the banks for now and the stock market went up. I don't understand the rationale for that. I haven't had a chance to read up on why the market went up and not the other way. Crypto is now overinflated, so I would not buy crypto right now because, you know, if it swells up really fast, it crashes equally fast. And I don't trust crypto in general. But yeah, to activate pizza, beer, and strippers. Yeah, although all of those things are technically halal, which is funny, but if you want to fit in, right, you want to look like everyone else, that would probably make sense. Because if you have 4 single guys living in an apartment, people would be like, who the hell are you guys? You know, you're sus. But if they're all having parties all the time, it's like, oh, it's bachelor pad. You know, you'd kind of blow it off. So actually, that was good cover if they were doing that. But yeah, folks, watch these banks. And is it 22 now, Johnny? All right. I was looking. I was going to get some silver from some of the suppliers online, but they're charging like spot plus 10. And I don't want to buy silver at spot plus 10. That's insane. So the sleepers disbanded because of it. They liked it too much. They're like, no, I'm going to run off with, you know, Diamond the dancer over here. But that's probably what a lot of them did. Haram stuff. But yeah, it looks like they leveled off the banks, guys, and don't overreact with the whole fighter plane hitting a drone. We've been crashing into each other's shit since 1950. We've done it repeatedly. They shot down a U-2. We had back in the 80s, I think, an F-14, a Tomcat back then, smacked into a Tupolev Bear. Somehow, I don't know how the hell they did that, and both of them wound up having an emergency land in the ocean. This stuff has gone on and on forever. So, to me, that's a distraction from the fact that there's companies that can't make payroll, even though the company has done nothing wrong, because the bank is full of idiots. That worries me way more than any other foolish stuff. So, but look, folks, I'm going to keep this one short because Sassy didn't eat lunch. I gobbled half a lunch, and we're both starving, and apparently I tried to eat cat food this morning in a stupor, so in a PowerPoint-induced stupor. So no, Actually, I've moved the cat food completely away from anything resembling cereal and granola because it was in one of those cereal type bins. And I grabbed, I was just like out of the corner of my eye, went bloop. And then I looked and I'm like, why does my granola look all fucked up? I literally said that out loud to my dogs. Like, why is my granola looking like that? And I was like, are you serious? I put cat food in my yogurt. I'm done. I put everything down. I like took a time out right there. Oh yeah, I would have taken one bite of that and it would have been ugly. But anyway, folks, be safe out there. Be careful. Thank you for joining me. I know this was a quick one. I'm just trying to get a lot of things done so I don't have to work through the weekend because that would suck a lot. I like to chill out on my weekends. So anyway, folks, be safe out there. Don't overreact. Like I said in the video yesterday, defensive prepping mentality, right? If you don't need it, don't get it. If you can afford it and split the payments at no interest, do that. And try to maximize what you already got. Inventory, reorganize, repurpose, and inventory again. You got me? Be good, be safe, God bless. I'll see y'all later.